Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 245 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my fellow co host and friends.
My name is Craig, a friend and co-host.
My name is also Craig, the third friend and co-host. I can't switch it up 2 in a row. I got to make it 3.
And much like our friend that's always there, the news
Yep.
accompanies us.
Always.
Oh, always.
Always. So, news wise, I feel like we actually had like some, I guess, some news that has some meat on it rather than just like small things that happened. So, I just have to start with, and of course, Game Informer is back. They announced on the 25th that the production brand or brand in general, Gunzilla, bought Game Informer's rights from GameStop, and GameStop is now also at its own publishing. It's independent. So while it is owned by Gunzilla, it looks like probably everything else is all Game Informer. Now, if you didn't know or lived under a rock during my rant, pretty much the whole thing was GameStop has owned Game Informer for quite some time now, and they were just kind of pieces of dirt bags.
Yep.
Or shit bags, really.
Yep.
Didn't really treat them right, always laying them off kind of randomly, and eventually, because I guess GameStop is looking to cut its cost, they eventually just dropped the Game Informer brand. So apparently behind the scenes, they worked on getting a deal done with Gunzilla to make sure that it could be come back. And on top of that as well, on the 25th, the news site came back on. And apparently all of the writers and stuff like that were playing video games and writing reviews for it. So they had known, I guess, a decent time before the site was coming back that they were going to get it back. So they have their Game of the Year and their award stuff. And then they also have their reviews for games that came out while they were gone. There are no details on the magazine just yet. They did say there will be ways to support them and get the physical magazine. But for right now, all you can do is sign up on their site and, catch up on all the news and stuff. If your Game Informer was your sole place, it's back.
One thing that I do love about Gunzilla is Neil Blomkamp is their creative officer. And I mean, Craig, I feel like we talked about District 9 in maybe the last 8 or 10 episodes at some point, but he was the, I guess, acclaimed Peter Jackson protege who did District 9 and has since been in some other projects. He was in the Gran Turismo movie, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting just kind of seeing that he's in the mix at Gunzilla and that they're taking over that publication. Well, they're funding that publication. The only worrisome thing is, does Gunzilla really have do they have a lot of projects that, or do they have just this one, or like one project that they're working on? Like, I don't know them that well. Like when somebody picks somebody up and funds them, I want to kind of know that they'll have funds coming in is what I mean, so that would be the only worrisome thing.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody's been yelling for somebody to take out IGN. I would love for Game Informer to be the site that finally takes out IGN because I can't stand IGN. That's probably wishful thinking for them to get that big, but I feel like they're going to have a decent following. They should.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see the physical magazines again. That would be awesome.
I would love that. Yeah.
Would you you would both subscribe, though, if they do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
So they'll be coming back in some sort of way, agenda type thing. So we will just see how that goes. Next up, we then had Ubisoft separating or subsidizing its main franchises into a different franchise, all tied together, and then separating from their smaller names from their bigger names. It's kind of confusing, but allow me to break it down for you. So Ubisoft has been looking to get a bunch of money from Tencent, but they don't want Tencent to exceed a certain amount of shares because then Tencent would own all of Ubisoft. So what they did is all of Ubisoft's bigger games, like Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, Far Cry, and I'm forgetting one because I wrote Tom Clancy and Rainbow Six. Isn't that the same thing, kind of?
Are you talking about like was that
Major franchise.
Ghost Recon?
Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
yeah. I thought it was four. I think Tom. I think I combined or separated
Not
Rainbow
the
Six and
Division,
Tom
right?
Clancy's. The Division is also Rainbow Six.
Okay.
Uh, I think it was like
Ghost
one of their
Recon?
other ones.
I know they haven't done Ghost Recon in a minute, but there was like the what was that, Wildlands and Breakpoint.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but regardless of the fact, all of their bigger franchises that cost, I guess, a lot of money to develop, now we're in this other subsidiary where Tencent was able to put like 1.6 billion cash flow into. So apparently Tencent already owns 25% of this subsidiary, and the subsidiary itself is worth 4 billion according to what financial people said.
Just those
And
games?
then yes,
Okay.
apparently.
Okay.
Just like they're bigger names that cost a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Because while
Mm.
a lot of people were saying that, this Assassin's Creed was supposed to save Ubisoft if it did went well, I don't know if there was any saving it to begin with. Doesn't sound like
Yes.
there ever was.
Yep.
Right.
But it is interesting to see. Just we have Tencent becoming more of a conglomerate in gaming here. And Ubisoft did a weird thing where they put all of the expensive franchises in one pot and then leaving the rest of them all, I guess, to be regularly funded by Ubisoft. I guess that
I
way there isn't
guess.
that much of a cash or a production risk
I'm trying to
because
think
those
what else
games
there would
cost so
be,
much
like
to make.
Rayman and Just Dance. I'm
Us.
trying to
Well, you
think of
gotta
like what other Ubisoft games there are. Trials. I don't know. There's none that really jump out at me.
No.
Tencent's like the Disney of gaming, aren't they? They just buy up everything.
Yeah.
They're gonna own it all.
Were they the ones that? No, they didn't buy Pokemon Go and all that. Did they? Did they buy Niantic? Or am I?
I don't think so.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Sorry,
It's very hard to think what else besides those big three Ubisoft makes anymore.
Is it
Savvy
safe to say that?
Games is who bought.
Is it safe?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry that you had to cut yourself, or that I cut you off for this very bad joke. I was going to say that Tencent looks to be spending a lot more than 10 cents, but
And we'll see you next week. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be it.
that's how you get somebody to stop.
We then had a Nintendo Direct. A little weird Nintendo Direct, but
Mhm.
nonetheless, it was a little strange. So let's go over what was announced. We got a big bunch of Metroid Prime 4, which looks pretty good, still coming out 2025 here. But I do think it's telling that the fact that we saw it during the Switch Direct means we are getting this like a Switch version of this. Whether it runs good or not, we don't know.
Yep.
We finally figured out what ZA means in Pokemon Legends ZA, and it's because it's a ranking system in which the battling part of the game at night, trainers go out and they fight each other, so you fight trainers to get yourself from rank Z to rank A. Hence ZA. Clever marketing.
Right, Barry. I know your answer. Craig, are you getting it day one?
Pokemon?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Thank you for being like.
No. I don't
Thank
see.
you.
Pokemon has long past couple iterations has been a GameFly game for me, because I just find them very hit or miss nowadays. For me personally, I know that's not the case for everybody, but the last few I have not connected with.
My wife and I still are gonna get it day one, and we looked at each other kind of like, why?
Yeah.
Like, like I don't know if I'm gonna play it day one, but this that was exciting though, to kind of see like that ranking system and that day night cycle, and at night what you're doing, in terms of the competing with other trainers. So I think it'll be interesting.
We then also got the Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is kind of like a classic beat 'em up sort of game that you'll be able to play as very much different Marvel superheroes, kind of like the beat 'em up game that you'd find at the bowling alley or the mall, and you put coins into. We got everybody's Hot Shot Golfs, which looks
Yes.
like to be a lot of fun. I do enjoy
Yeah.
playing those
I
games.
love Hot Shots Golf.
They're a fun little thing
Mhm.
that I enjoy. We then also have Tamagotchi. Like, there's a bunch of like other homey type games with Tamagotchi Plaza. We have a new Witchbrook. Very much looks like a
Mm.
Stardew Valley game. Story of Seasons. Shadow Labyrinth, a weird Pac-Man spinoff.
Mhm.
And it's not like Pac-Man. I say Pac-Man, but it is not really Pac-Man if we're thinking about it.
It's
It
secret
is,
level Pac-Man.
Yep.
yeah, it is
Yep.
secret level Pac-Man. We then have the kind of the bringing of digital cartridges in a new sort of way for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
So
explain
if
this
you
to
are
me.
okay,
I'm lost.
It's
so first off, you need to have the Nintendo Switch Online Family Plan. You
Okay.
need to have these people in your family. So, for example, it's me as the head, and you two are in my family plan.
Right.
As the head of the household, let's say my entire library is digital. I can send you a game to play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that digital game, they kind of treat it like digital cartridge or like physical cartridges, where if I send it to you, I don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I send you my cartridge and you can play it for up to 14 days.
Okay.
And how it's supposed to work is I say 14 because that's when it's automatically returned back to me.
And you could send it again, right?
I could send it again.
that
Yeah.
that was my that was
yeah.
my question that I was trying to figure out in the video.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
following.
it does not. I did not see anything about if there is a time limit about how, like, oh, if I send it to you for a full 14 days, do you have to wait a whole month in order for another 14 days sort of deal? I'm not sure about that. But on top of this, like, you can send them back and forth between the family, and save data is their own. So just because you send them to cartridge does not mean that they have all your save data and can mess up your game. It's not what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And this update is supposed to be coming in early April here.
Now, all right, so in this instance, you were the head, right, of the household, and I was underneath you. Could I send a digital game to you?
Yes.
Okay, so you can go back and forth. And
Yeah.
it does not work with, like, if you bought a physical version of a game, it's not going to give you that digital thing to hand out.
From what I understand, that is correct.
But you could okay.
Here's my question. Does it work on, so like I'll tell you a straight up debacle that my wife and I were talking about. So we buy a lot of physical Switch games. The majority of our library is physical for the most part, but I bought Luigi Mansion 3 way back when it came out digital, like 3-4 years ago.
It should.
It should.
Yeah.
Because my wife kind of wants to play it again, and if I'm playing Switch at the same time, I'll obviously stop playing Switch so she can play that game. But it would be really convenient if that digital game specifically I could send to her. Thank you for answering that question about the 14-day thing, because when I saw that, I said, "Who's beating a game in 14 days?"
Yeah, it depends on the game, but yeah, yep,
yeah.
Astral. Like, I have the same thing with some of my digital games, like Astral Chain. Like, imagine I could probably like rent that out because people can't get that.
That's true.
Yeah.
True. So the only other thing was, like, I know when it came out, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to understand this completely. And I was reading stuff online, and people are like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I'm like, Microsoft and Sony both do this as well, technically. Like, I know.
Yeah, but they don't. Yeah, they don't.
They don't
like,
advertise it, though.
Advertise it, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people. I have a lot of people on my PlayStation friends list
Game
and
share.
Xbox friends who game share. Well, they'll be like, you buy this one, I'll buy the next one, just to cut down on cost. I think it's a good idea. I really do. But for somebody like you, Barry, or you, Craig, who buy a lot of physical, it's not going to help as much.
Yeah,
It's not.
correct.
I don't think I've bought in any digital Switch games, honestly.
I have maybe 2. Maybe.
Yeah. Is it something that would make you buy more digital games?
So I don't think it will for me, but I know the
Right.
main reason is this heavily promotes like just buying from the Nintendo eShop.
Yep.
And that in turn helps Nintendo.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where they probably see that, oh, we don't get as many sales as we probably should on these games. And doing this method will probably guarantee them, like people now are more likely to go to digital because now, you can do all this game sharing type stuff.
Right.
But in turn, this method will also get a lot of the masses clamoring about the eShop's terrible interface as well, because
Well,
that's
and we have to
something.
hope that gets better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping gets better, because I don't know when the last time you gentlemen tried to look at the eShop and just scan it, but
I have not.
it's not fun. It's not as fun as it should be when we have interfaces like Steam,
Yep.
even Game Pass,
Yep.
even PlayStation's I think is better.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it kind of came in the fine print if you read it a little bit closer, but they pretty much all but confirmed there are going to be next gen options and like 4 games. So let's say they come out with a Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition. Whether it runs better, looks better, who knows. But I will be able to keep the Switch 2 edition of it while I can send you the Switch 1 edition.
If you
So
own
that is
one
like
version of it, or if you own both.
no, so like if I bought it digital,
Mhm.
like it's probably going to be an upgrade
Right.
of some sort, whether it's a $10 or $20 upgrade. If that's the case, I don't know. But that is something to consider, that I can have 2 versions and I can send the other one that I don't use. Because come on, it's the Switch 1 version. Who needs that?
Right.
But you guys get what I mean with that.
That could be huge though. If somebody like me, if I buy the Switch 2, I keep my Switch 1 and give it to like my daughter, and I buy
Right.
one copy, and we could technically both play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, we'll see with how well and how much like money it brings them if they do. We did get some weirder news with a new rhythm game,
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven, coming with it, which
Sign
is
me up.
Yes.
Yep.
that was a
I thought of both of
weird
y'all when I
trailer.
saw that.
Yeah. I
weird
love Rhythm
trailer,
Heaven.
but it was good.
Yep.
And then the revival of Tomodachi Life.
Yes.
It is a
Yes.
very weird and interesting me game.
Let's go.
On the Switch. On the DS, where you literally lived your life with Mii's, and there's this really, really, really crappy like AI voice that gives to all your characters. It is quite there are a ton of memes and a ton of fun to be had with games like that. Like Miitopia, for example, I kind of put it on that level where it's a lot like Miitopia, but just
Right.
overall, some like fun announcements, but of course not the announcement we're all waiting for here, which is coming
Right.
in the coming days on April
Mhm.
2nd.
Getting close.
Wednesday.
Many rumors suggesting that the moment that is done, the pre-orders will be up.
Right.
Yep.
So everyone is going to be scrambling on a random Wednesday.
Correct.
Did you hear there's also rumors that if you have a Nintendo account, apparently like it'll make it easier or faster to pre-order it?
I
I
would
feel like I
hope it
read that
would.
somewhere.
Yeah. You mean
Like directly
Probably.
from Nintendo,
Yeah.
kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but we have to see how it all ends up going this week. We will have more for you, of course, after we hear back from the Nintendo Switch
Yes.
2 announcement trailer and all of the, hopefully, some cool games. If you guys had to guess, we're seeing probably a new Mario.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably new Mario.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. I'm thinking Fire Emblem.
Okay.
I do believe we see
I'm
Fire
hoping.
Emblem.
Yeah. Maybe an extended trailer of Prime 4 just to kind of get it excited and say that there's a Switch 2 version, hopefully.
Also,
Switch 2 version.
I think Pokemon. I think more Pokemon.
They'll do the ZA.
Yep,
They'll do the ZA
yep,
thing.
Yep. And then some
That's
random
what they'll show
party
off.
game.
Yeah.
1-2 Switch. It'll be 3-4 Switch.
Something
It'll be
that's
the sequel.
something that's going to use the mouse capability of that controller.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be interesting with like the mouse capability if they end up like announcing Age of Empires
Or
Age of
Civ or
Mythology
something.
or Civ.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think Civ's already on.
Yeah.
The Switch is already, so I guess probably new and improved versions would probably help out with that.
Yep.
And I don't know, like I have a lot of my friends are clamoring for a new Donkey Kong game, but it would have to be like another side scroller because
Right.
like the next Mario game is probably a 3D collectathon game. We also have then Mario Kart, but
Yep.
I don't know.
Do we get
Bayonetta.
like a or that's a good guess. I was
Bayonetta.
thinking,
Yep.
do we get like a Star Fox?
I don't know.
That's
I
not a
feel
bad
like we're
idea.
naming too many. I think there's going to be like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Right.
It's not going to
there's
be
probably
much.
3 games,
Yeah.
and one of them is Pokemon. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
I'm hoping for like some remake of Twilight Princess, or like give me this. I need the Zeldas I didn't play. Sorry, so like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess double pack. Like,
You got to think about
sorry,
when the Switch launched. There wasn't many games.
Mm-hmm. I do remember.
Slim pickings. And one of them was 1-2 Switch.
And the last piece of news for me is a little bit of movie news. Snow White, the live action, is bombing.
Yes.
It is not doing well in theaters, and
Who would have thought?
for a bunch of reasons. Craig, I know did you watch this or see this movie yet? No.
Nope.
Probably have no plans to.
I will
either,
wait till
imagine.
it's streaming. I am not watching that in theaters.
Yeah.
No way.
But a lot of the videos coming out of like people who have seen the movie or TikTok, it is a lot of it has to do with one. This is apparently not like a faithful retelling. This is more of a reimagining of Snow White in live action, where Rachel Zegler's Snow White is a much more independent character rather than Snow White being the damsel in distress. Rachel Zegler made that very clear.
Yeah.
That a lot of people have an issue with how she tried to promote the movie. You have Gal Gadot singing.
Yeah.
In some parts, it just doesn't seem like anything I want to watch or I'm interested in even.
Yep.
So who knows? But I can see why it's bombing, and I don't care. And
no, I mean, this is going to be on Disney Plus. I mean, I would say in like a month,
Right.
but it's Disney. They're going to milk that
3
thing
months.
in theaters as long as they can. But yeah, I will wait, and I'll probably watch half of it and then never watch the rest.
Yeah, I'm not jumping. That was never one of my favorite Disney
No,
movies.
The
Anyway,
original
as a
was
kid.
boring.
Right.
Yeah, no thank you.
You had the Hi Ho song, and that was it.
Yep.
For like pretty much.
But that's all the news I have for this week. What do
All
you
right.
guys have?
I'll stick on the movie news because that's fun. First of all, we got news that they were making a Zelda movie coming out next year, I believe.
Yes.
Now we're going a trilogy of movies, all filming in New Zealand, which is cool. I like that location.
That's a great location.
The only question I have for you guys about these movies, because I'm totally fine with them making Zelda movies. I think that's a good idea. Does Link talk?
No, because what's going to happen is the stupid movie's going to go the entire time with Link being silent, and then at the last second in the first movie, he'll finally say something.
Yeah,
I hope he talks, but with a Kermit voice.
Voiced by no, that would be terrible. Voiced by like Patrick Mahomes or something like that.
Here's another question. What version of Gambit, Jesus, what version of Ganon do we get, and how do you do it so that it doesn't look corny?
Yeah.
Do we get Ganondorf? Like, what do we get?
I think, in my opinion, when I look at Zelda, I think you make it as close to a Lord of the Rings type movie as you can. I just think that has the best effect.
Yeah, I think that's probably how you do it too. Like in Lord of the Rings, like you got up to the whole point where you finally get to Ganondorf in 3, I guess is what they would do.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where, like, if they were to adapt any sort of story into, like, any one of Link's stories into a movie, I don't know why. I feel like Skyward Sword is probably the best one to do it with.
Yeah, but they're probably going to do Breath of the Wild.
Probably, and his weapons won't break.
Yeah. Skyward Sword would be cool. I'm down for anything. Like, I think these could translate very well to movies. I really do.
Yeah, agreed.
If they put the time in, which it seems like they are. I mean, Nintendo has a somewhat decent track record recently with movies. So Mario movie was good. I'm willing to put faith in this movie, and at least the first one. I hope it's a good, I love a good trilogy. So if you can give me 3 solid movies, I am in. And I'm not even a Zelda fan. So Do you think there's a possibility though that they base the movies around Zelda instead of Link?
You mean like a Zelda chic kind of thing, or like,
Yeah.
oh,
I feel
maybe that
like
maybe the
she's a much
second movie
more
is.
yeah, she's a much more active participant in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so I
Mhm.
could see that where she's more of like a princess who can like she's not just somebody who gets trapped in a crystal
Yep.
or kidnapped slash chic
Yep.
or
Kidnapped.
let's see, or kidnapped again.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, like you could do Ocarina of Time with that too, because that was the big reveal in Ocarina of Time. Sorry to spoil it if nobody's played that game. It was
oh,
really
True.
you've done it now.
True. True. But yeah, I'm excited.
Um,
I'm excited to see where they go with that. Another one, Mikey Madsen. I don't know if you guys know who Mikey Madsen is. Nora. She just got offered the lead role in the new Resident Evil movie. Again, I'm on board with that. I think she
yeah, I think she could
fits.
do
right.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she
Yeah,
could do it.
Um,
she can do it.
yeah. Give me that. Redo the Resident Evil movies and make them somewhat decent. I'm on board with that. Um, the last piece of movie news that I had was the Marvel live stream.
Okay, good. All right. I was gonna say I forgot
That was
about that. I'm glad
something.
you said something.
If you didn't see it, they did about, it was what, like 3 hours long. It went on forever. I kept checking back in where they just kept putting chairs of the actors who were going to be in the Avengers movie. Now we're talking about the first one. So obviously there's some notable people weren't there. Spider-Man was not there. Doctor Strange was not there. But I just wanted to specifically call out that us early Marvel adopters were having a good time because there was some X-Men in there. I'm not just talking about Gambit, Channing Tatum. We're talking about the original Cyclops. We're talking about Patrick Stewart. We're talking about Nightcrawler was in there. Magneto, Ian McKellen was in there. There's some wild names in there. I'm super excited. This is something they
Yeah,
needed to get people pumped for this again.
right.
And I am beyond pumped now. I don't know about you guys.
No, super pumped, and also was like a huge fan of seeing names like that because, like, I don't know. I remember being a kid and my dad, like when I was getting, when we would go to arcades and stuff like that, he knew I loved X-Men and he was like, you know what, they should start making these things into movies. And then lo and behold,
Yep.
you got Halle Berry Storm, and obviously Patrick Stewart and Sir Patrick Stewart
Mm-hmm.
and Ian McKellen. So
Yeah, we can't rule out. I know Halle Berry was not in there, but with everybody else, James Marsden being there as Cyclops, I would be shocked if she didn't show up at some point,
right.
maybe as a cameo. Any names jump out to you, Barry?
What do you?
I don't know. Is there anybody that you were
Mine.
excited to see again that we haven't seen in a while? There was a
I don't
lot.
know, like so like I'm not the biggest fan of how they showed off all the names and you had to wait 15 minutes
Yeah.
for each name. Like I get that I get it, but it's just so up Marvel's own ass that
Yeah, but they
it's like
needed
look at all
this.
these guys.
Yeah.
Um I don't know if you needed it. Like
I mean,
it
everybody's
is the
excited.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Like I just maybe like 1-2 minutes, like
Yeah.
let's speed this up a little bit. Like
Yep.
it was one of those things where my friends are all like every 15 minutes,
Texting.
oh look at the next person, look at the next person.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, kill
The
me.
group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like every 15 minutes. It would be one thing if it was like a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to see Chris Hemsworth's Thor.
Yeah.
He's become a very much like a staple in my portion of things, and how much of like those Marvel movies do like for us, for the people who've been watching it for a long time, it's big to see him.
Yeah.
In it, and especially because we're getting Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom this time around.
Mm-hmm.
It is nice to see him as well.
And Loki.
Yep. Which I don't know. I feel like I have to give like Loki a try again.
Loki's phenomenal TV show.
Yeah. Loki's great.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I will say this, like the only thing I really hope for, I don't know if you guys have been watching Daredevil.
I haven't started it yet.
Okay. It's extremely good. And I know they kind of hinted at it in the Spider-Man movie with Daredevil, right? He showed up. He needs to be in these movies. because
Right.
he's doing him and Frank Castle, the Punisher, like they're doing too well in these TV shows to not be included in the movies. Same thing with Kingpin. Like Kingpin needs to be in
Yeah.
there. He needs to be in there somewhere. At least put him in a Spider-Man movie or something. You know what I mean? Let Spider-Man fight him. But that's really my only complaint is like Daredevil has always just kind of been off on his own, and it's kind of a bummer. I don't
Yeah.
consider him like a lower tier superhero. I never have.
I'm not anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think the Daredevil movies were successful enough to get
No.
excited to bring him anything. But you're right. That was a successful TV series. I loved it. I almost wish I could transport back to the 2010s and just unlearn all those series so I can rewatch Daredevil for the first time. Jessica Jones, you know, like
Mhm.
all of those. Like, they had a great run with that group
They did.
of TV series. So
They did. And then the last thing I have, you want to talk about GameStop? Barry, you love GameStop. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is wild to me. First of all, GameStop just said that they are going to close a significant number of stores, right? Now, my initial reaction is like, all right, I get it. They're not doing well. They kind of survived. They have like 18 lives now. They keep surviving. But it was the next part that drives me nuts. They're closing a significant number of stores and they're investing in Bitcoin.
Yeah, this stuff is stupid.
That man, I feel bad for the employees of GameStop, but I really need GameStop to crash and burn now because this is insane. What does that even mean? I don't get it. You're just going to invest in Bitcoin? I don't can you do that? Can you take a company and just invest it in Bitcoin? Is that a thing?
yeah, I think we just don't see people do it because most businesses are ran well or somewhat better.
Can they at least hold off until the Switch 2 comes out? Can they do that?
I feel like ours is probably going to be okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, do you pre-order at a GameStop if you don't know if it's going to be open when the Switch 2 comes out?
That's hilarious.
Because if it closes and then the pre-orders are sold out, then what do you do?
Yeah, what's the contingency plan?
You don't have one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Screw that guy. He's the worst.
Nintendo does say that the plan is to flood the market to stop scalpers. I wonder if it like, I have a feeling like Nintendo wouldn't be saying this unless like they have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I am sort of interested to see if this plan is good.
Yeah.
Whether or not like retailers have been backstocking these for months or something like that and going from there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, when they said that, it made me think like they had like a Rhode Island state amount of them, like that many just ready. And I'm hoping that it's like maybe not that preposterous in terms of amount, but like, you know, enough that we could all snag one.
Yeah. But that was the last thing I had.
All right, I wanted to jump back real quick, just for Barry and I, for Atlas people, from the Switch one. The Raidu Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, might be our Atlas game that we play this year.
Barry saying no.
You want to know why, though, right?
Why is that?
Because we're going to get a Persona 4 remake.
Yep. Dropping game day one on Game Pass.
Right. All right, I take that back, but still an Atlas game. And also the other game that interests me from that was No Sleep for Kaname Date. I think I'm going to play that. That was another one that jumped out at me. There's a Nintendo News app too, also, guys, by the way.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
That it has minimal news on it because it just launched the day of the Switch 1 Direct. But it was really cool to kind of, I mean, that's where I found out about the date of the Zelda movie coming out. And it'll be interesting to see how they utilize that. Another app for us to have for Nintendo. They had Nintendo Music, that app. So that was pretty cool to see as well.
Nintendo is just going to meld into our lives.
Right.
No.
Right.
Because I have to say that the app is pretty slick.
Okay.
But like, it's not replacing my calendar app on my phone.
No.
Like,
oh no. Heck no.
If I could get it to do it, I might be considered like I might be able to do it. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know. I have a couple of other things. Nothing really crazy, so it might sound more lightning round though. 3 confirmed game publishers have contingency plans for GTA 6 release. these 3 publishers who obviously were not named, but did plan to release their games towards the end of the year. It does not look like Rockstar is going to push the announcement. They're going to milk the anticipation of that.
course.
So I don't know. I think it's pretty good. They didn't say anything hinting to which game publisher specifically. I don't know if it's AAA or anything like that, but they were planning to release in that window, so they're hanging tight until they see when Rockstar is released, with a plan of not releasing in 2025 if that window kind of fell even remotely close. And I forget if it's 30 days or 60 days. A lot of publishers are talking about a sweet spot, 30 days to 60 days before and 30 days to 60 days after that release, hoping that, when the fun dies down and such like that, this must be what first person shooters feel like around Call of Duty, where they're like, we're just not going to touch November, or October. I forget when it comes out exactly, but there's that. I guess what surprised me, we already kind of started talking about it last week, but Assassin's Creed Shadow is a success right now for Ubisoft, or as much as a success as they could hope for. Largest launch, and surpassed the launches of AC Origins and Odyssey, only falling to Valhalla, but Valhalla was different. It was a console launch. It was a console launch during COVID. So it had a couple of different stipulations that happened around it that made it that successful, but it's good to see Shadow. I think it's sitting at like an 81 on Metacritic, maybe 81.
It is being reviewed quite favorably. It's funny you mentioned that, because more now than ever, I've heard more about, like, you really can't compare, like, Shadows to Valhalla or Odyssey to Valhalla. Like, Valhalla is its own, like, microcosm of an event because of what COVID did and everything like that. And it to be honest, it wasn't until they said something I was like, oh yeah, like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you don't think about it, and I don't know. It's very nice to see this, especially after all the hate and everything leading up to it. People were already dogging on the game before it was even close to announced. It had a delay, a couple of delays, at least one delay. So it's really nice to kind of see this, despite Ubisoft making a lot of bad decisions. Here's a success that they've had. But the only other thing I had, this was my Barry news for the week. Barry, it's officially been 1,086 days since the first trailer of Kingdom Hearts 4. By the way, just so you know,
watch Kingdom Hearts 4 be announced at the Switch 2 Direct.
Oh my god, like, that would be hilarious.
The weirdest, the one they don't expect. That would look. I admit it would be kind of crazy. That would be really.
It would be.
You are right. It is.
It's been some time.
It is strange, but I think a lot of this also has to do with the Disney licensing as well. Like, you can only do what Disney lets you do, and a part of me just wishes, like, you know what? If you just want to stop this, let's just have Sora go to Final Fantasy Worlds. I know it's different. I know it wouldn't be the same as, like, getting to play Kingdom Hearts in Disney Worlds, but it's just one of those things where I have a feeling that's the only reason it's taking as long as it is.
Yeah, probably.
Because of,
yeah.
Is because of that. It has to do with Disney.
He would be welcome in Final Fantasy Worlds. We know at least Leon owes him a favor. At least.
Yeah. You would definitely lose a chunk of your player base, though.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think the combat's fun enough. Like,
I do too.
For me, the combat and, like, the kind of heartless theme thing could carry it enough of a way, at least for me.
Yeah.
But it's different for everyone.
All right, that's it for me.
Okay, so we're going to get to movies and video games this week, and I'm combining them because nothing happened this week. I played more Monster Hunter Wilds. I've been replaying Last of Us Remastered Part 1 in kind of preparation for Season 2 coming out on HBO later in April. But
okay.
So that's all I've been doing.
I got that,
Craig.
I got that sweet platinum trophy in Pirate Yakuza.
Nice.
Yes.
That was fun. I tried some Atomfall on Game Pass, and then I did start First Berserker.
I
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I started first Berserker. I did not have a chance to try Atom Fall,
Okay.
so we can do like a combined thing for first
Yeah.
Berserker.
Yeah.
Also, if we're combining, I didn't really watch anything new, so I'm specifically going to be talking about first
Oh,
Berserker probably.
okay. If we're combining, there was the season finale of Reacher. I don't know if you watched it yet, Barry.
I have not. That's the
Okay.
other reason I didn't mention it yet.
I won't go. I'll just say this: like, that was one of the greatest fight scenes to end a season I've seen in a long time. That's what I'll say. But yeah, that was really like the only thing I watched this week was Reacher. So we can just do games. Let's do it. Where do we start?
I don't know. Why don't you do Atom Fall and then we'll talk about Kazan.
All right. Also do all right. So let me just start Pyro Yakuza. I think it's. I mean, I platinumed it, so my initial reaction is like it's probably going to be in my top 10, right? Because I don't platinum very many games. I will say though that you do become significantly overpowered to the fact that like the back half of the game is kind of a joke because you're just rolling through everybody. Overall, I really enjoyed it though. I thought the story was fun. Um, it is not that long, honestly. If you were to just do the main story, I think having platinumed it, I was right at like 40 hours. So
Okay.
really not that bad for a Yakuza game to do everything, like literally everything in the world. But I enjoyed my time with it. I'm excited for another one. I think it's the perfect break from the turn-based RPG we've been doing the past couple of years. So
Right.
it's nice to go back to just a beat 'em up style. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. Atom Fall is this one's interesting because it's it's not a combat game, it's an exploration game. So like if you go into it of being like, oh, this is like Fallout, it's not. Like if you get into fights, you're gonna die. Because you're going to get overwhelmed by like 20 people, and the guns you have are very basic, at least to start. You're not going to have very much ammo. So you kind of do have to sneak around. But what I enjoy about the game is that it tells you nothing, absolutely nothing. So you start the game, you're in a bunker, kind of like Fallout. You get a person's telling you, like, hey, you need to leave. You go outside the bunker. It doesn't give you waypoints. It doesn't tell you any of the story. It's just like, hey, go figure it out. And you're picking up like you're reading papers, trying to figure out where to go. Now you can put it on like the lowest setting if you want, and it'll give you waypoints. I did not do that because I just went with the recommended one that they had. But it's kind of a nice change of pace for a game where it's just kind of like go explore the world, and like wherever you end up, maybe that's where you need to be, but you'll get where you need to be eventually. It's just a cool little break. It's perfect Game Pass, I think, because I think it's a hard sell for like, hey, spend $70 on a game that doesn't tell you anything, you know. But if it's like just download it from Game Pass and try it, and if you don't like it, uninstall it. No harm there. Perfect for that. I don't know if it's something I'll stick with just because, you know, like we got First Berserker and we have other games coming and the Switch is coming. So I'll probably end up dropping it, but I like what I played so far.
I think it was working against some of the grain there because people were making comparisons to what was that game that wasn't that good that people were comparing it to? It also released on Game Pass like last year or the year
Talking about
before.
like Atomic Heart.
Yeah, so like people were
Yeah.
comparing it to Atomic Heart and other stuff, and like if you're calling it, if you're a reviewer saying like it's an Atomic Heart Fallout,
It's not. Yeah.
yeah, and like so I think that turns. That's why like, and personal opinion, that's why I didn't start it like day one. I was
Yep.
like, I'm gonna try it, but I still have a bad taste in my mouth from Atomic
It
Heart.
looks very pretty. So if you just want to have a game where it looks nice and you're just wandering around the world, discovering things at your own pace, go for it. I will say though that there's an issue that I had quite a few times, and I looked online and a ton of people are having. There's something with the audio where it'll just completely go out and you have to quit the game and go back in. So if you want to wait until they patch that out, you might be better off doing that. But I had that happen a couple times, but not normally my style of game, because you know me, like I like my waypoints, I like my like go here, go here, go here. but I just think the way they're doing it is interesting because you're just kind of like investigating. You're like, okay, what happened? Where am I going? But like,
Right.
what is going on?
Why am I here?
Yeah, what am I
Mhm.
doing? Yep. So yeah, I think it's an interesting game. It's something different, and we need more of that for sure.
Right.
Oh yeah, first Berserker. First of all, I hit continue and took me like 20 minutes to remember how to play the game. I probably should have just
Same.
started over because
Same.
I hit continue. I was like, wait a minute, where am I? Where do I need to
Yeah.
go? What are the controls again? Oh, I just died. All right.
Right.
But once you
Same thing
got
for
back
me.
into it, God, this game's good. It's so good.
It really is.
Oh my God.
It's a very,
Yeah.
very, very good game.
Smooth.
I had the same
Yeah.
experience, man. Like,
Yeah.
because the game relies on parrying, blocking,
Yep.
and less dodging. Like it's not a very forgiving stamina bar,
Hmm.
and I had to work myself in it because like if I'm in Souls games, I'm a roller. Like I'm
Hmm.
a dodger roller, like kind of person. So I had to get back into that. Um, but it's a great game.
Yep.
It's a pretty freaking. I'm pleasantly surprised. How far did like what chapter are you in?
I don't even
If
know
you remember. Okay.
because I
You,
just started playing it today, and I was just like, because I was dead set on getting done with Pirate Yakuza. So I just started playing it today, and I was just like, I don't even know what chapter I'm on. I'm still in the snow. I don't know, but
I'll tell you one thing. So people like us that play the demo,
mhm.
nice pleasant experience. You had even a cool boss that you had to fight, that you had to learn, and you died maybe, or maybe you were one of the people that beat it first time. The first level that you play, which would technically be chapter 3,
Mhm.
chapter 2, 2 or 3, I forget. But this boss has 2 forms, and boy was it a showdown.
Yep, that's what
Like
I've heard. Is it's
it's a showdown.
unforgiving. Yeah.
It's a showdown, and it took me a while to beat this guy. I'm not going to say that I beat this guy first try, and it was pretty epic. It was pretty epic. The first form was pretty unforgiving. I didn't know it was the first form, so I was fighting tooth and nail. I do that thing where you're at the end of like your last, like you don't have any health, any way to recover health, and I had like a smidgen of health left, and I was like, yes, I beat him. Cutscene.
Refill the bar.
Cutscene,
Yep.
refill bar, epic boss doing something to make himself even more powerful, muscles growing. You're like, great,
Yep.
this is great. I'm dying. So, but there's things that they do. This is a nice baby step into Souls like games because there's certain things that this game does. Number one, you can choose to spawn like another like CPU controlled player to help you. You have to have a certain item to do that, and in order to do that, you do have to fight what are called revenants. So you can spawn these revenants around. It's very similar to Souls games. You kill them, you get the item that you need in order to spawn these helpers, but they're like everywhere. So if you want to continuously do that, you can. You can choose to fight without it if you want to have like the I beat the boss by myself kind of thing.
I
Um,
don't got
if
that
you,
pride.
I don't have that pride
Yeah.
either.
Just get me through it.
I got 36-year-old hands.
Yeah.
They don't have the dexterity that
Yep.
29-year-old gamer had. I'm fighting with a helper, but when if you die in a boss chamber, it spawns your experience right outside the chamber, and it actually I think gives you more experience. Like it says
Yeah.
you receive this experience for attempting the boss challenge. So there's things that it does that kind of help you through the Souls experience. The missions, I'm on like chapter 4. The missions aren't long.
Hmm.
It's very Neo in that you go back to the hub world, you got a mission's not long, you know there's an epic boss at the end of it, there might be a mini boss before it, and then you go back to the base, you talk to your NPCs. So like I think this is going to be, I don't want to call it a sleeper hit because we were both excited after the demo,
Yeah.
but I think this is going to be in a weird spot, like a good weird spot on our top
I
list. I think.
I think it might be for us, but taking a step back and looking at it, this game is going to get buried this year. It really is. There's too many other massive games coming out. It's going to get forgotten, and it makes me a little sad. So as long as we can like talk it up now, like it's the perfect time to play it right now. What else are you gonna play? Like this is this
Yeah.
is it, or Adamfall, or Avowed, I guess, or I don't even know, but this is definitely the time. Or
Avowed.
Last of Us Part 2 again, if you're Barry over here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I'm hoping to get it. I'm hoping to beat it by South of Midnight, which
Yeah, that's
comes out
like
like
a week and a
two
half,
Friday.
right?
I know it exactly, precisely.
Yeah. It's gonna get buried. It really is. And hopefully more people play it, but I just foresee this being a game that's like clearanced out some like for $15, in a
That's what I'm
Target.
waiting for.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would be the steal of a century right there, honestly.
That would be the steal. This is a great game.
Yeah.
Like I encourage anybody to play it. If you're wary about Souls games, this is
Yep.
the one to try to play to get into it. If you're into Souls games, it offers a good enough challenge. It's a great game.
Yeah.
But I have a small addendum,
Okay.
unless there was more Berserker talk.
No, I'm good.
This is not a rant. This is just basically a statement. On Game Pass, you can now play Madden 2025 or Madden 25. I think it's funny. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of talk about the Giants, which is my team, so I'm going to download this game and just play franchise, see if I can actually make a good Giants team, which, spoiler alert, in a simulated video game, I can.
Mm-hmm.
A simulated video game. But what I'm going to say is playing Madden 25 after playing College Football 25, my brain can't process it. They need to go back and they need to put as much heart and soul and love into Madden as they can, because the game's buggy, which like that's
We're talking
That's
about
what I
Barry's
can't-
baby over here.
Well, no, I agree with him.
Yeah.
but I don't know.
It is insane how buggy that game is.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
It is. Oh, it's insane how buggy the game is, but like even some of the things, there's just not as much love and care that went into College 25. Like even, I don't know, as the coach, there's interviews that you have to do where you have to like, sometimes you have to know your stats by heart, not your actual stats, but like what's your quarterback doing the worst this year?
Mm-hmm.
And like you lose morale, like all of that stuff. It's been a while since I played a Madden, guys. Let me also say that. but I played College Football 25 because of that the atmosphere, which is also ironically an argument for college games versus pro games. Sometimes people go for the atmosphere. People love college football for the atmosphere. So like it's kind of funny that juxtaposition.
Yep.
It's hard to play. I'm playing it because it's a football game and it's the football game.
Yeah, and if you have the choice, they also put college football on Game Pass as well.
They did, and I can't start that again, man. I did about 8 seasons as PSU and then 3 or 5 as LSU. Like I can't.
I saw it on there. My initial reaction was like, I bought it on PS5. I could just download it on Xbox, and I went, no, I will not go down this hole again.
Bad.
Wait for the new one. It's not that far off. Maybe. They haven't even announced anything yet, have they?
They haven't.
We only saw the cover apparently, which the deluxe edition had, and as Penn State people, had James Franklin and Nicholas Singleton like on the bleachers of a stadium, with a bunch of other players. Like it's not like they were just solo. Yeah. But
was Abdul Carter on it? Was Carter on it?
Because no. I did see that. I mean, those usually come out in July, so we still have a little bit of time, obviously. But yeah, I'm not getting into that again.
Yeah,
because it's going to be 100 hours of my life in July.
Yes, when you need to save that for Death Stranding too.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, so anything else anybody needs to mention?
Don't think so.
No, nope.
Slick. All right, so I want to thank everybody for listening. If you are on your podcast listening platform of choice, please make sure to like and please make sure to like and leave a review or a star rating or whatever the heck they have you do on your listening platform. If you are on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below on what you think is coming out or the big announcement that we haven't said for the Switch 2. And on top of that, please make sure to follow us on social media. We have a X account. We have a Reddit.
Yep.
And we have
TikTok.
We have
we have
a
TikTok.
Instagram.
Forgetting that.
I was gonna say, and we have each other.
Yeah, you go.
As friends, we always have each other. And just like as you guys are all friends who are listening to us, we will go ahead and say goodbye. We hope you guys have a good week. And just have your popcorn ready for the Switch 2 announcement.
Yes.
That's
Oh
And
my
your
God.
wallet. Have your wallet
and your
ready.
wallet. Yeah.
For real.
$500. I'm going 500.
$450.
Four. I'm gonna go 4. I'll go low.
All right.
$3.99.
None of us
$3.99.
will be right. You'll have to listen in next week on who gets it right. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.